Center. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Matthew Barlow. I'm the humanities coordinator here, amongst various other things I get up to around town. I'm really happy you've all turned out for reading Frederick Douglass together, because it is meant to be read together. A few things to cover. First of all, we actually...
Let Wendy translate.
Oh, Wendy's going to translate into Haitian for me.
Bonsoir.
C'est fait?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Bienvenido.
Okay. So the other part of this is that I do speak French. I don't speak Haitian. I'm Québécois. So I will probably slip into French periodically myself.
We parle français. N'a fait ça parce que nous avons Zoom. So we're doing this because we have Zoom and we have people that might not be here. And
Yes.
so I feel kind of silly because we're all English speakers. So just bear with me as I talk to whoever else might be listening. Okay?
And also for me, because I'm from Montreal, where this is how we do everything, en anglais, en français,
Yeah.
I'm feeling right at home.
Okay, enfin. So, Monsieur dit, il est québécois, il passe aux États-Unis, il est au Canada, il parle français, même il parle français, qui c'est bon créole. Donc, peut-être il allait tous les deux côtés, c'est possible de commencer à parler un petit créole pendant de parler anglais. Et, excusez-moi, un petit bagage, mais quand même pour vous parler créole, mais quand même là, moi, loup, mais mes pensées, mes souhaits, va comprendre quand même. Ok, d'accord? Merci.
Merci. All right, first things first, emergency protocols. That is our emergency exit in the front. Nothing will happen, but if something does, we go that way.
Premier bagage, c'est si nous avons urgence là, parce que ici, nous dit tout le monde qui s'appelle, si nous avons urgence, nous avons un côté juste là, côté où nous avons besoin de sortir. Nous n'avons pas de problème, même si nous avons un problème, c'est ça que nous avons besoin de faire.
Oh, all right. Land acknowledgement. We are on the unceded, stolen lands of the Pecumtuck Nation. Their main village was in the vicinity where Deerfield is today, and there was the village of Wissinetuag, which stood at the side of the Great Falls on the Connecticut River. Wissinetuag is the Algonquin word for shining hill. It was a truce zone.
See, then it's good. Okay, you can't keep going. Can't do it all.
Oh, well, I can go a couple lines.
Yeah, do that, okay.
Is
So,
that it?
do I have that?
No.
Ok. Monsieur a dit, parce que nous voulons dire, nous connaissons, nous comprenons, côté la fille, c'est pas terre pas nous. C'est terre qui nous te prend dans même une nation qui veut le contact, c'est Indien, c'est ça nous veut les Indiens là. Et yo te gen village ici, côté la petite ville, les Deerfield. Not yung kapit paggamit pa ka from a tragedy. Wisa tenuwag pa kami di sa nang wo. Sala di se nukomen e nukompran e nudi nation pil komun ki vraiment c'est terpal. This is how we did it. So I didn't translate exactly because
But
I
you don't
couldn't
directly
do it all.
translate.
I just explained.
All right, and so basically what my point is, just doing this, acknowledging this is stolen land, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make anything better. What we need to do is to listen to our Indigenous neighbors, and this is where I'm going to get my soapbox, because this matters to me. We listen to our Indigenous neighbors, we listen to what they want to do, how they want to be recognized, how they want reconciliation. Because we are not doing that.
Ça, monsieur dit, c'est pour seulement dire merci du tout pour ça. Ça vraiment pas fait en guerre. Ça nous besoin de faire, nous besoin de tendre. Nous besoin de tendre. Sans moun ça yo a dit, ça yo besoin, ça nous besoin de faire pour nous. Parce qu'il a dit, nous pas faire ça. Nous dit pas faire ça, mais nous pas faire ça vrai.
All right, now some upcoming events here at Lava. Tomorrow, Lindy White will be launching this photo exhibit that is behind us from 11 to 2.
So, quelque chose qui a venu ici, là, c'est un spectacle sur qui j'en ai mêlé? How was she called, okay? Lindy.
Lindy White.
Lindy Lawrence, Lindy White. We get a packet, bill photo receipt.
And I just presume everybody in this room knows Lindy, so. We have Writers Read next Thursday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. That will have Kat Hill, Paul Sloshek, and Robert Eugene Perry.
Nous avons un autre gars, côté de nous qui écrit, il y a Bliss qui a écrit. Ça c'est 7 pour 8h30 mercredi. Et avec Catfield et Paul Sloshek.
Robert Eugene Perry, en français. On the boards is a series of plays, mostly local playwrights, including our very own friend Nina Gross right there. It begins on Thursday. All the information's on our website. I'm not going to go through the details.
So on a fait un autre guy, on the boards, c'est un paquet de jouets, sur mon qui BBC. Et commencé jeudi, et quand les websites nous pour voir ça passer, puis avec une belle dame qui a essayé de lire une version.
Bon, and now our thank you, our mercis. So this program is made possible to a Mass Humanities Reading Frederick Douglass Together grant. Say that 10 times fast, which itself is generously funded by the Massachusetts Cultural Council.
Et on a fait programme ça, dit merci pour Mass Humanities Reading pour Frederick Douglass ensemble. Generously funded, sorry guys, I do this. Et avec Bouquet, il est fondé avec Massachusetts Cultural Council.
Also, un gros merci Gloria Matlock and Michael Nix for Twice as Smart.
Et un gros merci too for a big thank you for Gloria Matlock et Twice as Smart, qui especially.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I want to thank Corey from GCTV who is here filming.
Napti merci Corey qui a fait GCTV, fait vidéo.
Et finalement, un gros merci à Wendy Goodman,
Merci.
Et finalement, napti merci Pam. Thank you.
who is Greenfield's city liaison to the new Haitian arrivals.
Thank you.
Oh,
So, without further ado, I would like to turn the stage over to Twice as Smart.
Good evening. Our songs that we're going to be singing this evening are songs that tell of domestic violence, and which will be sung in Eritrean, Ethiopian language, no Tigrinya, sorry. And we're going to be singing, well, as we go along, we'll talk about the songs. But you notice we're wearing these, and I don't know if you all remember, it was quite a while back when a lot of Haitian people were trying to cross over the border, and they were on boats, and they were turned around, nobody recognized them, they were waving the flags, trying to get help because some of the boats were sinking and drowning, and I guess the people at the border did not allow them to come in and drown. And that didn't happen this month. Our first song we're singing is Oile, which means to celebrate. Song is called Sholosa, and it's a South African word song. many of the workers, they never dig for diamonds, they had to travel a long ways. They had to migrate a long ways from their home, you know, on a weekly basis, rotating weekly basis, they had to dig those diamonds and be away from their homes. And just for them to, you know, have to, each time they come home from work, they have to reconnect with their family. So that's a form of migration. And most of these songs are migration, immigration related. This next song is a work song, American work song, African American work song, and it's called Take This Hammer. Take this hammer, carry to the captain. Take this hammer, carry to the captain. Take this hammer, carry to the captain. Tell him I'm gone. Tell him I'm gone.
If he asks you, was I running? If he asks you, was I running? If he asks you, was I running? Tell him I'm flying. Tell him I'm flying. If he asks you, was I crying? If he asks you, was I crying? If he asks you, was I crying? Tell him I was laughing. Tell him I was laughing.
I don't want no
Sugar
in my glasses. I don't want no cornbread in my glasses. I don't want no cornbread in my glasses. It hurts my pride. next song is a true story, a true song about this little 3-year-old girl who was domestically violated, abused by her mom's best friend. The mom unfortunately had to go into prison, into jail, and she asked if that family could take, her friend could take care of the little girl, 3-year-old girl, and they ended up, because of substance abuse, they ended up killing the little girl. And then hiding her. They still don't know where the child is. Because the guy was so stoned, he don't know where he doesn't remember where he put her. And being in foster care is also a form of homelessness, right?
In my house a girl lived there, by the one in charge. Afraid to tell, stayed in her shell. There was no love to be found. There was no love to be found. In my house, a boy lived there, was built of rocks and stone. Nobody cared, was left to stand in a closet all alone. In a closet all alone. In my house a girl lived there, no one's inside her bed. Her body ache, there's no mistake of what's will lie ahead. Of what's will lie ahead. In my house a boy lived there. It burns to winter soil. Although he's gone, his soul moved on to tell of his life's toil. To tell of his life's toil. In my house a girl lived there. She sits upon her throne. Her smile is back, her life's intact. The closet's all gone. The closet's all gone.
This next song was written by George Gershwin, and it's called Summertime. If you think of the words, listen to the words and see what meaning the words really mean. Summertime, when the living is easy, fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich and your mama's good looking, so hush little baby, don't cry. Who do you think he was talking to? Think about that.
Fish are jumping
next song is called Migration. It's an Ethiopian song, sung by a group, created by a group called Yenya. And it's about domestic violence. And there's so many women in Ethiopia that are suffering from domestic violence. And they leave, and they have to leave everything behind and go to a place where it's totally unknown, a hidden place, so that they won't experience this anymore. It happens in the United States as well, and most other countries that I know of. But this is specifically violence against females.
Elok malok, elok ade, yedale. Eta baba, ubaleme, yedale.
The big thing about migrating is that some people don't feel like they're welcomed here, and we don't always open up our arms and welcome them. And that's that last is, please welcome us. Because they would do the same thing if we went to them. And so this next song is I Stand Alone. You'll get the message.
Flying high up in the sky, I will not run, I will not hide. I stand alone, I stand alone, I stand alone, I stand alone. The only task is to survive. I will succeed, I will not die. I stand alone, I stand alone, I stand alone, I stand alone. I'm flying high up in the sky. I will not run, I will not hide. I stand alone, I stand alone, I stand alone, I stand alone. The only task is to survive. I will succeed, I will not die. I stand alone, I stand alone, I stand alone, I stand alone. Alone, 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 alone. I stand alone, 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 alone. I stand alone.
The last song before we sit down is called Brother Can You Spare a Dime? And you know that song was forbidden in the United States to sing it because 1920s because it was making America look bad. But we have the freedom to sing it now, so we're going to sing it.
They used to tell me I was building a dream with peace and glory ahead. So why am I just standing in line, waiting for a loaf of bread? Once the
Let's hear it once more for twice as smart. And frankly, I think we can go home now because I don't think we can top that.
Parce qu'il n'est pas café puis bien passer ça.
Okay, bon. So we'll start the reading now. So how this is going to work is we're going to read in English and Haitian. And our friend Evancia is going to read the Haitian, and we are going to read the English. So I'm going to start us en anglais, and then I'm going to pass them. Well, I'm not using a microphone because my voice can wake the dead. But the microphones are live if you prefer to use them, because not everybody has my voice. Oh yes, I'm sorry.
So, ça n'a fait là, qui j'aime ça la marcher, c'est, oh, excusez-moi, you know what? No, tell me your name again. Ivancia, qui c'est une élève ici. L'appli créole, il a passé livre là pour lire anglais. Ivancia lit tout bagaille net conflit. Et moun qui parle lire anglais, ils met venu là, ils met parler sur le microphone, donc tout le monde peut entendre.
Oh. So a few things just to introduce the speech. What to the slave is the 4th of July? Frederick Douglass delivered this 174 years ago tonight in Rochester, New York.
So ti bagay su dekli na pli, c'est Frederick Douglass te lisa 174.
72, it was 172.
Ah, merci. 72 années zan passé, ok? Sur Slavia,
Rochester, New York.
dans Manchester, New York.
So initially we were going to do this on the 4th, and then we realized it's the 4th, and also too because this is the anniversary of him giving the speech. So he was invited.
À le commencement, nous t'ai pensé d'appeler ça la 4 juillet, mais vraiment, il t'a fait le ça la 5 juillet, donc nous la connaissons là. Use the mic. Thank you, Nina.
So, yes, that is the speech, my pre-speech speech. So I'm going to kick off the reading in English. I have a couple of volunteers already to come up and take over. Evancia is going to read, as we know, the Haitian. Bless you.
So, Mathieu a commencé à lire l'anglais, et après, il a fait quelques mots à venir. Il était volonté déjà pour l'anglais, et après, Evancia a commencé les créoles. Il a appris créole tout pour parler. OK? Merci à vous.
Mr. President, friends and fellow citizens, the task before me is one which requires much previous thought and study for its proper performance. I do not remember ever having to appear as a speaker before any assembly more shrinkingly, nor with greater distrust of my ability than I do this day. Remember, we're talking about Frederick freaking Douglass, one of the greatest polemicists, not just in American history, but in history. The papers and placards say I am to deliver a 4th of July oration. The fact, ladies and gentlemen, the distance between this platform and the slave plantation from which I escaped is considerable, and the difficulties to be overcome in getting from the latter to the former are by no means slight. That I am here today is, to me, a matter of astonishment as well as gratitude. This, for the purpose of this celebration, is the 4th of July. It is the birthday of your national independence and of your political freedom. This, to you, is what the Passover was to the emancipated people of God. It carries your minds back to the day and the act of your great deliverance.
Ma commencé par dire honneur ak respect pour président, tout citoyen ak zami qui la jodi a. Pour m'te ka vin camper devant nous pour faire discours ça, moi te fait des recherches et puis moi te réfléchi sur question en pile. Moi pas songer un jour tant pour jodi a dans toute ville. Côté moi parler pour me sentir pas des âmes dans même côté ak si j'ai moi de me traiter. Journal ak publicité qui poste dans la ria dit c'est moi qui peux faire discours 4 juillet. Mais messieurs dames, il y a une haute catafale distance qui sépare l'estrade côté nous campé jodi ak plantation côté monté échappé en bas fait esclavage. Pas de parole qui t'a fait moun comprendre travail ak misère yon monde qui se route pour sortir dans souffrance l'esclavage passer pour arriver là. Présence nous sous podium ça, je ne jodi c'est un contention miracle. Nous vraiment gain un pile reconnaissance pour ça. Jodi nous avons célébré 4 juillet, nous avons fait anniversaire indépendance pays et puis liberté politique ou vivre en tant que citoyen. Je sais pour c'est un coup fait Pâques pour faire bon Dieu. Date journée jeudi faire tourner dans un moment qui était un jour de délivrance. Célébration ça a marqué commencement de l'autre année dans l'existence pays. Il fait penser toute que République peuple américain fondée à 66 ans citoyen. Moi content pays la jeune, ça veut dire qu'il est toujours en période en enfance. Moi à répéter encore, mon content c'est qu'on s'allie. Gain un pile l'espoir dans power ça et n'a besoin un pile l'espoir en bas période difficile nous va joindre plus devant.
Bon, Paul, can I get you up here to read the next bit?
Fellow citizens, 76 years ago, the people of this country were British subjects. But your fathers, who had not adopted the idea of the infallibility of government and the absolute character of its acts, presumed to differ from the home government in respect to the wisdom and the justice of some of those burdens and restraints. They went so far as to pronounce the measures of government unjust, unreasonable, and oppressive. And although such as ought not to be quietly submitted to, I scarcely need say, fellow citizens, that my opinion of those measures fully accords with that of your father.
Citoyen, de 76 l'année qui passe depuis que moun qui t'a vive dans pays ça est sous l'ordre ak autorité pays l'Angleterre. Mais aussi tout yo pas te quoi dans système côté parole ak action gouvernement c'est bagay fait pas capable questionner. Yo te choisi chimie justice ak la sagesse pour yo te faire face à restrictions ça yo. Yo te même déclaré que action gouvernement métropole là te yon injustice, yon citoyen qui pas tolérable et moun pas doit accepter. Citoyen, moi pas besoin de dire que moi d'accord avec les ancêtres fondateurs yo. Yo te senti que traitement gouvernement métropole là te injuste brutal. Mais c'est ça yo c'était des moun l'esprit qui te honnêtement cherché redresser citoyen ça. Yo te fait pétition pour désapprouver accès gouvernement central là. Yo te fait ça dans respect, loyauté et dignité. Mais autorité yo pas détendre, yo te mépriser yo mais yo pas décourager.
All right, who wants to volunteer next in English?
Oppression makes a wise man mad. Your fathers became restive under this treatment. They felt themselves the victims of grievous wrong, ruling incredible and their colonial capacity. With brave men, there is always a remedy of oppression. Just yet, the idea of a total separation of the colonies from the crown was born. It was a startling idea, much more so than we, at the distance of the time, regarded. The timid and the prudent of that day were of course shocked and alarmed by it. The opposition to the dangerous thought was earnest and powerful, but amidst all their terror and affrighted vociferations against it, the alarming and revolutionary idea moved on, and the country with it. On the 2nd of July, 17 76. The Old Continental Congress, to the dismay of the lovers of ease and the worshippers of property, clothed their dreadful idea with all the authority of nation sanction. They did so in the form of a resolution. We seldom hit upon resolutions drawn up in our day, whose transparency is at all equal. It resolved that these united colonies are of right, ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown. Citizens, your father made good that resolution. They succeeded, and today you reap the fruit of the success. The freedom gained is yours, and you therefore may properly celebrate this anniversary. The 4th of July is the first great fact in your nation's history, the very ring bolt in the chain of your yet undeveloped destiny.
Oppression, domination, c'est bagay qui fait même moun qui gen sagesse lever camper. Ancêtres yo te perdu patience, yo te vin wè tèt yo tant que victime, yon situation tellement grave que yo pas joindre solution si yo rete en bas pays l'Angleterre. Garçon voyant a toujours joindre solution dans situation oppression et domination. C'est là que l'idée séparer colonie yo à couronne nan, gouvernement métropole là te prend naissance. Jodi a c'est comme ça nous capable wèl. Te gen moun qui te timide, qui pas te d'accord. C'est avec un pile énergie yo te exprimer des accords avec opposition yo. Mais malgré tout bruit, tout côte mal taillé sous l'idée indépendance pays a, machine rouleau révolution a te descendre pour traîner tout respect idéal. Je quittais 2 juillet 1776, organe l'État yo te relé congrès continental là, poser une action qui te par l'éclair. Yo te fait décision ça par décret. Jusqu'à journée jodia, moi pas quoi nous jambes écrit un décret qui clair comme ça. Nous décider que colonie yo gagne droit pour yo voler Axel, par yo pour venir en état indépendant. Yo pas gagné aucune redevance envers la couronne britannique. Citoyens, ancêtres fondateurs yo te prend une bonne décision. Yo te gagne un pile succès parce que yo a joué résultat victoire sa journée jodia. Liberté a c'est pas oublié, ou mettre fêter jour ça à tout cœur. 4 juillet c'est le premier gros événement dans l'histoire nation. Une pièce importante dans le film développement destiné au soutien ça.
Who's next in English? Come on up.
Try without. My business, if I have any here today, is with the present, the accepted time with God, and his cause is the ever-living now. Fellow citizens, pardon me, allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I, or those I represent, to do with your national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I, therefore, called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar and to confess the benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessings resulting from your independence to us?
Thank you.
Jodia, moi voulais parler des temps présents. Nous gain pour nous occuper passé seulement, les li capable aider nous comprendre ça qu'a fait kounya dans temps présent. Et puis ça pral fait pita dans l'avenir. Citoyens, excusez-moi si m'a posé tête moi pour qui ça yo mandé vinn parler là jodia. Qui ça moi-même ou sinon moun moi représenter yo gain pour yo ouais avec indépendance nationale pays ça. Est-ce que gros principe liberté politique et justice nationale qui chita dans déclaration indépendance l'arrivée? Devant porte la caille, est-ce que yo mandé vinn témoigner devant l'hôtel national pour reconnaître bénéfice moins joindre dans système ça? Et puis exprimer gratitude pour toute bénédiction et indépendance apportée pour Rachel.
This is my expectant look that someone will spring up to read.
Would to God, both for your sakes and ours, that an affirmative answer could be truthfully returned to these questions. Then would my task be light and my burden easy and delightful. But such is not the state of the case. I say it with a sad sense of the disparity between us. I am not included within the pale of this glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not me. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. To drag a man in fetters into the grand illuminated temple of liberty and call upon him to join you in joyous anthems were inhuman mockery and sacrilegious irony. Do you mean, citizens, to mock me by asking me to speak today?
Est-ce que devant grand maître là, honnêtement, nous capables de répondre oui à la question ça? C'est un fait travail moins facile, mais c'est pas réalité nèg noir dans pays ça. C'est avec tristesse moi ouais catafal différence qui blaye parmi nous. Moi senti pas fait partie grand fête qu'a fêté journée jodi a. Indépendant ça montre gros différence qui existait dans le temps. Droit, devoir et bénéfice ou gagner jodi a pas rentrer la caille tout citoyen. Dans pays ça, bel héritage justice, liberté, prospérité et indépendance ancêtres fondateurs qui étaient dans main. Moi pas jouir. Soleil qui te porté la vie à guérison pour moi, porté ma coup de fret à l'amour pour moi. 4 juillet ça c'est jour pas, c'est papa, on met fêter. C'est crier moi t'a crié pour traîner un net enchaîné dans la liberté pour demander de participer avec ou dans réjouissance ça. C'est un acte sans humanité. C'est passer mon nan tété. Est-ce que c'était intention pour passer mon nan tété leur fin faire venir parler là?
Volunteer.
My best to have stars. Yes. My subject, then, fellow citizens, is American slavery. I shall see this day from the slave's point of view, standing here, identified with the American bondman, making his wrongs mine. I do not hesitate to declare with all my soul that the character and conduct of this nation never looked blacker to me than on this 4th of July. Whether we turn to the declarations of the past or to the professions of the present, the conduct of the nation seems equally hideous and revolting. America is false to the past, false to the present, and solemnly binds herself to be false to the future. Standing with God and the crushed and bleeding slave on this occasion, I will, in the name of humanity which is outraged, in the name of liberty which is fettered, in the name of the Constitution and the Bible which are disregarded and trampled upon, dare to call in question and to denounce, with all the emphasis I can command, everything that serves to perpetuate slavery, the great sin and shame of America. I will not equivocate, I will not excuse. I will use the severest language I can command. And yet not one word shall escape me that any man whose judgment is not blinded by prejudice, or who is not at heart a slaveholder, shall not confess to be right and just.
Eh bien, citoyen, moi pral parler sous l'esclavage dans le pays États-Unis. Moi pral pour voir comment yon esclavage joue ça. Pendant que campé devant, m'a mette tête moi dans peau yon citoyen américain qui gagne dévotion pour pays. Moi pas exister déclarer à toute force moi que caractère à comportement pays si là pour gens plus mal que janvier jodi a. Qui nous prend ça yo te dit temps ancêtre yo ou sinon gros déclaration à l'idée qu'a placé et puis développer jodi a. Façon nation a mené back li dans la honte, c'est bagay qui pour révolter monde, nation a mené back li dans la honte. L'Amérique pas sincère à tête li dans temps ancêtre yo.
Li toujou ap bay tèt li manti jodi a, et jan prale a li pap jam jwen ak verite a. Devant l'Éternel, map kampe ak esklav kap senye an ba kout fret lan tout chrétien vivant. Lan non liberté pour frem ak sem yo, victime ke ou pense an ba pied, mette garçon sou, ramase courageux pour dénoncer ak tout force tout ça kembe l'esclavage, gros péché ça qui plonge pays a nan fè noir ak la honte. Moi pas pral vi retourner, moi pas pral chercher excuse, moi pas pral utiliser mots qui fort ak parole piment pour me parler avec nous. Moi connais depuis qu'elle ou pas envahi ak préjugés sous race ak couleur, ou sinon si pas un fanatique l'esclavage va tomber d'accord avec moi.
Anyone? All right. So 29,
I fancy I hear someone of my audience say, it is just in this circumstance that you and your brother abolitionists failed to make a favorable impression on the public mind. Would you argue more and denounce less? Would you persuade more and rebuke less? Your cause would be much more likely to succeed. But I submit, where all is plain, there is nothing to be argued. What point is the anti-slavery creed would you have me argue? Or what branch of the subject do the people of this country need light? Must I undertake to prove that the slave is a man? The slaveholders themselves acknowledge it is the enactment of laws for their government. They acknowledge it when they punish disobedience on the part of the slave. There are 72 crimes in the state of Virginia, which if committed by a black man, subject him to the punishment of death, while only 2 of the same crimes will subject a white man to the like punishment. What is this but the acknowledgement that the slave is a moral, intellectual, and responsible being?
Mwen tande moun nan asistans la di se nan ka sa yo akokot zami abolisyonist. Mwen yo avek mpap jam kapab fè yon bon ekspresyon sou audience nan. Si nou te brase li de plis pase nou denonse, si nou te eseye konvek plis pase nou fè reproche, mesaj la tap gen plis chans pou l'pase. Men jam ap repon, devan yon doktrine ki bien planifiye, bien monte, pa gen an pil bagay ou kapab fè devan. Ki point nan diskou kont l'esclavage ou ta reme mwen diskite sou li. Sou ki parti nan doktrine sa ou bezon linye. Eske se pou mwen komanse pa demontre ki esclavage la se yon moun tak ou tout moun. Mesye ki vle l'esclavage yo deja rekonet sa nan lwa yo. Genyen 72 krim nan eta yo rele Virginia ke se yon neg noa fe krim sa yo. La jwen kondamnasyon pou peyi san chapeau. Alos ke si se ta yon blanc, selman de nan 72 ka sa yo mene pen nan mo. Eske sa se pa rekonet ke esklav la se yon moun ki responsable?
Sorry, Cindy, come on up.
Would you have me argue that man is entitled to liberty? That he's the rightful owner of his own body? You've already declared it. Must I argue the wrongfulness of slavery? Is it to be settled by the rules of logic and argumentation as a matter beset with great difficulty, involving a doubtful application of the principle of justice, hard to be understood? How should I look today in the presence of Americans to show that men have a natural right to freedom? To do so would be to make myself ridiculous and to offer an insult to your understanding. There's not a man beneath the canopy of heaven that does not know that slavery is wrong for him. What, am I to argue that it is wrong to make men brutes, to rob them of their liberty, to work them without wages, to keep them ignorant of their relations to their fellow men, to beat them with sticks, to flay their flesh with the lash, to load their limbs with irons, to hunt them with dogs,
to sell them at auction, to sunder their families, to knock out their teeth, to burn their flesh, to starve them into obedience and submission to their masters? Must I argue that a system thus marked with blood and stained with pollution is wrong? No, I will not. I have better employments for my time and strength than such arguments would imply.
Est-ce que vous avez démontré que l'homme a un droit pour liber, qu'il est capable de disposer de tête les gens voulaient, ou déclarer et puis admettre ça déjà? Est-ce que vous pouvez entrer dans une discussion sur le côté illégal l'esclavage? Est-ce que l'institution y aurait l'esclavage là sur un côté qui suit une logique à part? Est-ce qu'il y a raison pour expliquer les chita sur une application de graine gauche précis, la justice qui fait difficile pour comprendre? Qui genre aspect physique moi t'as supposé y aujourd'hui pour l'aime devant un Américain blanc, là d'accord que liberté c'est un droit naturel pour tout chrétien vivant. Si m'ta fait ça, moi t'as passé tête moi dans bêtise et honnêtement moi t'as insulté intelligence par pas de monde sous terre ça qui pas connaît que l'esclavage c'est pas un bon bagage pour lui. Qui ça? Moi dois démontrer sur un mauvais bagage l'autre chrétien vivant tant que l'on perd. Leur voler liberté, leur faire au travail son papier, leur empêcher de relation avec l'autre monde pareil, leur battre tellement jusqu'à ce que vous marquez pour eux, leur enchaîner ou vendre tant pour pas qu'ils rade ou pas besoin, ou séparer des familles, ou racher dans eux, ou bouler pour eux, ou pas manger pour faire baisser tête devant main. Est-ce que moi dois démontrer que un système qui chita sous sang, saleté et pollution, c'est un système qui pas bon? Non, moi pas prêt à perdre du temps à courage moi dans un exercice comme ça.
Come on up, we're on 27.
What then remains to be argued? Is it that slavery is not divine, that God did not establish it, that our doctors of divinity are mistaken? There is blasphemy in the thought. That which is inhumane cannot be divine. Inhuman cannot be divine. Who can reason on such a proposition? I cannot. The time for such argument is past. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument is needed. Oh, had I the ability and could I reach the nation's ear, I would today pour out a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, and the earthquake. The feeling of the nation must be quickened. The conscience of the nation must be roused. The propriety of the nation must be startled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed. And its crimes against God and man must be proclaimed and denounced.
Qui ça qui était pour nous parler? L'esclavage passe yon...
Quoi?
Qui ça qui était pour nous parler? L'esclavage par une création bon Dieu. Tout paix à tout passé dans l'érève. L'idée de l'esclavage même c'est un blasphème. Ça pas humain pas capable de soutenir bon Dieu. Qui monde qui capable de voir une raison dans causer ça? Moi pas capable. Les pour nous parler de causer ça est fini. Dans temps qu'on y a, nous pas besoin de belle logique pour nous convaincre nous. Nous besoin de bon gens moquerie sinon aussi nous pas capable dans les nations. Moi t'apprends compte plaisir avec lui. M'ta fait un pile reproche, m'ta passé dans Tintin et m'ta parlé dit avec lui. Pour ça, c'est pas lumière nous besoin, mais bon gens d'y fait. C'est pas temps pour caresse, c'est bon gens souké li ta mérité souké. Nous besoin yon tempête, yon orage bondé yon tremblement la terre, nous besoin de toucher sensibilité nation. Faire prendre conscience côté lié. Retirer le drap blanc qui couvre bagaille l'aide ça. L'ouvrir sous hypocrisie à richesse société à ça. Dénoncer crime nation ça devant mon Dieu avec les hommes.
What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him, more than all other days in the year, the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham, your boasted liberty an unholy license, your national greatness swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciations of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity are, to him, mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy. A thin veil to cover up crimes which would disgrace a nation of savages. There is not a nation on the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these United States at this very hour. Go where you may, search where you will. Roam through all the monarchies and despotisms of the old world. Search out every abuse. And when you have found the last, lay your facts by the side of the everyday practices of this nation. And you will say with me that for revolting barbarity and shameless hypocrisy, America reigns without a rival.
Qui ça qu'a dit représenté pour nos esclaves américains? M'a dit, un jour qui passait tout jour, rappelait gros injustice et mauvais traitement la vie, chaque jour poté pour lui. Dans j'ai un esclave, célébration jodi a c'est un mois. Liberté ou clé monnaie bien fort jodi a pas en accord avec l'Éternel. Pour un esclave fierté nationale ça qui baigne dans vanité battre l'estomac avec résistance montrer comment ou pas gagner. Les wap dénoncer dictateur, les avec yon je cherche ou parler de liberté et égalité, c'est bagaille pour faire mon rire. Lors la prière et puis bail mon Dieu gloire, témoignage reconnaissance avec belle possession dans la vie. Esclave la ouais Satan pour yon déception, yon disgrâce, yon apparence pour couvrir un crime qui pas ta même fait honneur aux nations peuple ak yon bonne sauvage. Pas une nation sous terre ça qui pi coupable passer peuple américain. Dans pratique tête chargée, mettez sans monde dehors à cause de l'esclavage. Allez koto capable, chercher koto vle, voyager dans tout pays d'export ak monarchie qui dans ancien continent yo. Prends temps pour chercher tout côté qui gagne injustice, leur fin joindre tout, comparer au côte à côte ak ça nous pratiquer dans pays ça. M'a fini pas d'accord avec moi. L'Amérique pas gain pareil dans affaires pays cherche sous bagaille l'esclavage.
But still, a still more inhuman, disgraceful, and scandalous state of things remains to be presented by an act of the American Congress. Not yet 2 years old, slavery has been nationalized in its most horrible and revolting form. Mason and Dixon's line has been obliterated. New York has become Virginia, and the power to hold, hunt, and sell men, women, and children as slaves remains no longer a mere state institution, but is now an institution of the whole United States. The power is coextensive with the Star-Spangled Banner and American Christianity. Where these go, may also go the merciless slave hunter. Where these are, men is not sacred. He is a bird for the sportsman's gun. By that most foul and fiendish of all human decrees, the liberty and person of every man is put in peril. Your broad Republican domain is hunting ground for men.
Men gen yon bagay ki piled, pi makaon ken ta remen pale. Gen pa plis ke de l'année Congrès américain passe yon loi ki nationalize l'esclavage. Loi sa ke nou konnen sou nou mason dik zon jwen aprouval nan 4 coin pays ya. L'État New York vin takou l'État Virginie. Pouvoir tek nan yo te genye. Mwen vle pale de droit yo genye pou yo posséder, chasser et puis vendre femme. Timoun ak gason voyant takou esclave blay dans tout pays et nous capable di l'esclavage c'est une institution dans tout États-Unis kounya. Pouvoir ça fait un sel ak drapeau et puis ak l'église dans pays ya. Côté yo ye wap joindre vagabond à tout fait k'ap acheter ou sinon k'ap vendre esclave. Côté Louis Jean Bourget ça yo ye. La vie nèg noir pa gen valeur. Yo se gibier pour chasser. Loi moun fou sa mette liberté ak la vie chaque moun en danger. Territoire république la tourné yon théâtre côté yo te fait chasse à l'homme.
Volunteer? Carol.
Am I right, 40?
Yes. So you got 40, 41.
Your lawmakers have commanded all good citizens to engage in this hellish sport. Your president, your secretary of state enforce as a duty you owe to your free and glorious country and to your God, that you do this accursed thing. Not fewer than 40 Americans have, within the past 2 years, been hunted down and without a moment's warning, hurried away in chains and consigned to slavery and excruciating torture. I apologize for my emotions. Some of these have had wives and children, depended on them for bread, but of this no account was made. The right of the hunter to his prey stands superior to the right of marriage and to all rights in this republic, the rights of God included. For black men, there is neither law nor justice, humanity nor religion. The fugitive slave law makes mercy to them a crime and bribes the judge who tries them. An American judge gets $10 for every victim he consigns to slavery, and $5 when he fails to do so. The oath of any 2 villains is sufficient under this hell-black enactment to send the most pious and exemplary black man into the remorseless jaws of slavery. His own testimony is nothing. He can bring no witness for himself. The minister of American justice is bound by the law to hear but one side, and that side is the side of the oppressor.
Sénateur ak député nan Congrès pays a ordonné tout citoyen pour yo pratiquer sport infernal ça. Président ak ministre des Affaires l'autre bord de l'eau même dit que vous devez considérer causer malhonnête ça tant que yon devoir pour bel grand pays là. Dans des dernières années qui sont passées là, pas plus petit que 40 Américains tombés dans chaîne, côté y a battu yo et puis y a forcé au travail. Gen là-dedans yo qui gen madame ak petit qui te compté sur yo pour manger chaque jour. Mais ça pas important. Droit à tout faire marchand esclave plus fort. Plus sacré parce droit naturel moun. Gagner pour marier, droit mais c'est ça yo gagner plus fort parce tout droit dans pays. même devant l'Éternel. Pas de justice pour les noirs en Amérique. Religion, pas ouais, un gros livre là, yo pas même considéré autant que chrétien vivant. Règlement sous esclave, marron, pas bail aucune chance. Les mêmes récompenses juges qui condamnent yo. Un juge américain touché $10, par tête esclave, il retourne par mettre alors qu'il recevra seulement $5 s'il pas arrivé tourner un marron bail propriétaire. Tête chargée l'esclave, parole li pas d'une valeur, li pas capable de mener monde pour témoigner pour lui dans le tribunal. La justice dans le pays américain pas un seul parti droit pour lui parler, mais il toujours prend parti pour monde qui fait habiller.
Who's next? Jan, 42 and 3.
Let this damning fact be perpetually told. Let it be thundered around the world that in tyrant-killing, king-hating, people-loving, democratic Christian America, the seats of justice are filled with judges who hold their offices under an open and palpable bribe and are bound in deciding the case of a man's liberty to hear only his accusers. In glaring violation of justice, in shameless disregard of the forms of administering law, in cunning arrangement to entrap the defenseless, and in diabolical intent, the fugitive slave law stands alone in the annals of tyrannical legislation.
C'est vérité ça circuler dans le pays. Quitter nouvelle la grondée sur toute la terre. Autorité dans le pays américain dit yo pas vle tyran k'ap fait moun api. Yo dit yo pas dormi collé ak monarchie. Yo fait propagande yo c'est petit bontier. Yo bay citoyen yo en pile valé. Ya marché dit yo créer démocratie, mais dans système justice là plein juge qui pas caché yo prend l'argent en bas table dans jugement sous droit. Chrétien vivant gagne pour yo gen liberté. Yo même tande seulement moun qui porte accusation accusé yo pas gen la parole. C'est une violation grave dans le principe administration de la justice d'avance ou fait arrangement pour offrir les gens qui sont défense. Loi sur esclave marron, ça pas pareil. Dans l'histoire de la justice, les arrangement des graines gauche d'avance pour condamner les chrétiens vivants qui sont innocents.
Anyone? I mean, I'm happy to read too, if no one else wants to do this. All right, Wendy. 45, 46.
You invite to your shores fugitives of oppression from abroad. Honor them with banquets, greet them with ovations, cheer them, toast them, salute them, protect them, and pour out your money to them like water. But the fugitives from your own land, you advertise, hunt, arrest, shoot, and kill. Your glory in your refinement and your universal education. Yet you maintain a system as barbarous and dreadful as ever stain the character of a nation. A system begun in avarice, supported in pride, and perpetuated in cruelty. You are all on fire at the mention of liberty for France or for Ireland, but are as cold as an iceberg at the thought of liberty for the enslaved of America.
Ou l'ouvri porte pour moun qui victime et k'ap kouri pour mauvais traitement, oppression dans l'autre pays. Ou ba yo tout honneur dans des blousailles belle fête. Ou applaudi yo ou ba yo gros salutation. Ou même ba yo l'argent, en pile l'argent. Mais moun k'ap kouri pour mauvais traitement dans pays ou poursuivre yo, ou faire recherche yo, ou arrêter yo, ou tirer sur yo et puis tuer yo. Ou tant kou yon étoile k'ap briller tellement civilisé. Tellement une belle éducation, mais ou kembe un système tête chargé des graines gauche cap ça caractère aux nations. Un système qui prend naissance dans l'amour l'argent. Un système qui bat une fierté mal placée. Un système qui force les gens battre et puis maltraiter chrétiens vivants. Ou c'est premier pour camper les ou parler de liberté pour payer la France et l'Irlande. Mais ou vin frère coumable les ou parler de liberté pour esclaves dans le pays ici.
You declare before the world and are understood by the world to declare that you hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And yet you hold securely in a bondage which, according to your own Thomas Jefferson, is worse than ages of that which your fathers rose in rebellion to oppose, a seventh part of the inhabitants of your country. Fellow citizens, I will not enlarge further on your national inconsistencies. The existence of slavery in this country brands your republicanism as a sham, your humanity as a base pretense, and your Christianity as a lie. It destroys your moral power abroad, it corrupts your politicians at home, it sacks the foundation of religion, it makes your name a hissing and a byword to a mocking earth.
Ou déclarer devant le monde entier, ou yo point ou leur dit comme ça. Vérité ça yo pas négociable. Tout chrétien vivant égal égaux. L'Éternel ba yo une série de droits que personne pas capable de retirer. Parmi eux, nous avons cité droit pour yo vivre, droit pour yo libre, et puis droit pour yo chercher la vie douce à très content. Mais là encore, ou gagne l'autre attitude. Ou kembe dans code yon bon coup citoyen et situation yo d'après Thomas Jefferson, plus terrible que ça te fait ancêtre yo lever camper pour yo goumen contre l'Angleterre. Citoyen, c'est là m'a campé sous causer incohérence de green gauche système pays. Existence institution yo relé l'esclavage la fait pays ça assemblée yon république pour bonheur. Droit pour chrétiens vivant n'a parlé assez en bloc et puis l'église a pas été menti. Situation ça sale image pays à l'étranger. L'iblaï corruption parmi politiciens yo. L'écraser fondation l'église dans pays ya. Ou faire autres pays ou rio. Passons dans Tintin.
Anyone want to take us home? Last two? Come on up.
Allow me to say, in conclusion, notwithstanding the dark picture I have this day presented of the state of the nation, I do not despair of this country. There are forces in operation which must inevitably work the downfall of slavery. I, therefore, leave off where I began, with hope. While drawing encouragement from the Declaration of Independence, the great principles it contains, and the genius of American institutions, my spirit is cheered by the obvious tendencies of the age. Nations do not now stand in the same relationship to each other that they did ages ago. No nation can now shut itself up from the surrounding world and trot round in the same old path of its fathers without interference. The time was when such could be done, but a change has now come over the affairs of mankind. Walled cities and empires have become unfashionable. The arm of commerce has borne away the gates of the strong city. Intelligence is penetrating the darkest corners of the globe. Wind, steam, and lightning are its chartered agents. Oceans no longer divide, but link nations together. From Boston to London is now a holiday excursion. Space is comparatively annihilated. Thoughts expressed on one side of the Atlantic are distinctly heard on the other. In fervent aspirations of William Lloyd Garrison, I say, let every heart join in saying, do we read this together? Or is it?
Let's read.
Translation first.
Well, actually, let's get the translation into Haitian first, then we'll read the Garrison poem together to finish this off. If we can all do that. Yeah, it's not gonna listen.
Permets-moi dire pour finir, malgré tout vieux cause moi parler aujourd'hui, moi pas perdu l'espoir pour pays. Gen an pil travay ka fet e l'esclavage ap fini pa kaba. Ma fini diskou sa, jan mwen te komanse la kan pil l'espoir. Gros prinsip ki ekri sou la vi kretien vivan nan maman lwa peyi ap ban kouraj. Mwen gen an pil asirans tou. Lem gade ki jan bagay yo chanje pandan l'ane pase yo. Peyi yo pa gen menm relasyon yo te gen lontan. De sa, nan pwen yon nasyon ki kapab viv pou kol, ki kapab kebe menm prinsip lwa fondatel yo san pa fe echange ak lot pot lo. Paray kon sa pa ka fet anko. Gen de gros chanjman ka fet nan kouman kretien vivan viv sou la te. Vil ferme Vil ferme moyenaj yo ak preske tout royaume yo ap dizaparet. Commerce ak business kaba barrière qui te protégé puis gros vil yo, intelligence les hommes ap blai, progrès dans quatre coins la tête. Nous ka wè sa nan invention ampoule électrique et puis machine à vapeur. La mer passe par le continent encore. Li permet nous voyager dans pays yo plus facile. Sorti dans ville Boston pour aller à Londres. Capitale pays l'Angleterre, c'est encore aller dans croisière pendant yo week-end. Distance yo ville pi courte. C'est un bol l'océan Atlantique ou qu'attendez brasser l'idée qu'a fait sous l'autre bord. Pour finir, moi je veux répéter une parole qui saute dans la bouche un gros ami nèg noir. Ma parlé de abolitionniste William Lloyd Garrison m'a invité à nous répéter avec.
All right, let's do this in English. Are we ready?
All right.
1, 2, 3.
All God see the day when human love shall cease to flow. In every clime be understood the claims of human brotherhood, and each return for evil good, not blow for blow. That day will come, all feuds to end, and change into a faithful friend, each foe.
So for those of you who wish to stick around for a little bit, we can discuss what Douglass is getting at here, although I think it's pretty blatant. I don't think he's a very subtle man in this speech. Frederick Douglass is by far one of my favorite American historical actors. Each 172 years ago tonight.
Et un film était venu arriver à Rochester, New York, quand il était fait, l'activité à Swear.
He was probably, I think we could fairly call him the leading abolitionist in Massachusetts and New York. And he spoke here in Greenfield, Massachusetts, at Independence Hall, correct?
No, at Washington Hall.
Washington Hall, I keep getting this wrong. Washington Hall is where the Veterans Mall is now, which I know from Carol.
Monsieur te parlé à face de Greenfield et à Washington Hall, côté Washington Hall. When you speak so long, I forget the beginning of what you said.
So do I know what I'm saying? 1866 he spoke. January.
You guys go first.
86.
Yes, so.
Oh my God.
All right, so I want to talk briefly about Haiti before we send you off into the night.
Vous avez fait parler sur Haïti avant de dire aller.
So Haiti is the result of the only successful slave rebellion in Western history.
Haïti, c'est seul côté, seul pays qui s'est fait, seul, le premier pays qui s'est fait une révolution to esclavio.
It's the largest slave rebellion since Spartacus' failed rebellion in 73 to 71 before Common Era. Okay? C'est le
C'est
président.
people depuis Spartacus that rebellion, depuis Spartacus t'es pas clair bien, il pas fait. Non, non, en bon Jésus t'es fait. En bon Jésus t'es fait.
So the French response to Haitian independence, because the French got their asses kicked,
Donc, réponse française
to
était
be
faite
polite.
pour indépendance, France t'est dit, parce que vraiment, ça Haïti t'est fait sur eux, t'es vraiment, vraiment.
We just stop there and think of all the hits to French pride. That one really left them.
Quand tu réfléchis sur comment français yo gen un pile fierté dans tête yo, et comment ça a senti les Haïti, sur un pays qui est non seulement noir, qui frappe yo, qui te batte yo, qui te gagne.
So the War of Independence for Haiti ended in 1804. It was 1825 when France formally renounced its rights to Haiti.
So, t'es,
1855.
ok, que français t'es vraiment dit, ok, nous d'accord, nous pas gain droit. Mais ça prend combien de temps? How many years was that? 21 ans. Yo t'es gourmet pour liberté.
So the response of France left an independent Haiti stymied in its attempts to establish itself, essentially, for the first quarter century of its existence.
So français yo t'es quitté Haïti pour dégager yo. J'en ai capable.
Haiti was forced to pay 90,000 francs.
Okay, you want to tell me in English?
What was the number? So I took the French number.
90.
90 million francs.
So France était forcé à Haïti pour payer 90 millions de francs chaque année.
And they didn't pay that off until 1947.
Et ils n'ont pas fini de payer ça jusqu'en 1947.
Well, that's my next point. Haiti never had a chance.
Haïti n'a pas jamais eu une chance.
So Haiti was bankrupted immediately.
Haïti t'es perdu tout pareil, tout comme yo t'es gagné, non t'es perdu tout de suite.
So they had to borrow money from French banks
Donc yo t'es obligé de prêter comme dans le français, en banque français.
at usurious interest rates.
Et avec intérêt, yo t'es besoin de payer qui est pas normal, extraordinaire.
And that's Haiti. They never had a chance
Ça
because
c'est
of
Haïti.
white colonial racism.
Ça c'est Haïti, yo pas jamais eu une chance parce que blanc.
And that's my mic drop. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for coming tonight. And again, thank you to Voices.